The Bible says that a good name is to be sought above all other things, and I fully believe this, and I daily try to live it. Honesty is the minimum standard, and avoiding the appearance of impropriety or evil is crucial in anything that we do. Being forthright and open, leaning forward in the foxhole, as they say, offering things up front, I think is the best policy so that it avoids suspicion and questions. The other evening I spoke with Southern Prepper 1 on the phone, and it was wonderful talk. It really put some wind back in my sails, and he also gave me some great perspective and ideas and advice, and I'm very grateful for his mentorship. We talked about our careers in the military, we talked about war, we talked about many subjects. In this, he shared with me his gear review policy, which is similar to mine, but also with a couple of notable and very honest additions, if you will. My intention is to do gear reviews in support of the mission of this channel, which is to inform, to educate, and equip preppers with the information and training necessary to be prepared. Part of that is to review gear and equipment that we have need of and to ensure I find economical solutions for you. I want you to get the most for your money. I have spoken about this in some detail, but I want to recap real quick. Equipment, gear, and tools come in three essential flavors: cheap, economical, and expensive. Cheap, well, let's talk about that. Let's use the analogy of a grocery store trip, something we need to go do every week. So we need a piece of equipment or a gear or a vehicle to get us to the store and back every week. And let's say we have a little distance to go. You could get a wheelbarrow with plastic cheapy tires on there. You know the kind I'm talking about. Something for pushing around in the garden with maybe a little rake in it or a Barbie doll. But that's going to fall apart real quick and not be a very wise use of your money. Better thing to do, especially if you have to get on the freeway, might be to get a small car, like a Volkswagen, for instance, because that's easy to maintain, easy to operate, economical to keep fuel in, and it'll hold up for your grocery trips. You could go on the other end and go real expensive and get a giant four-wheel drive monster truck with lights and roll bars and winch and everything else, but that's quite a bit more than you really need for going to the grocery store. And more importantly, in order to afford that, you're going to have to go cheap or not at all in some other area. And that's what I want us to avoid. We need to go right down the middle and realize our resources are finite, not infinite, especially about money. We run out of money often before we run out of bills, usually. I'm quickly realizing, in support of this mission, that my ability to buy every piece of gear and review it is just not going to be possible. I don't want to be a channel that does gear reviews just to do them. I review gear instead, and tools, which I'll be doing in the near future, from this perspective. A prepper who's been prepping since 1977 and knows what other preppers out there are going to be looking at and want to look at and need to know about. Some vendors who know my policy and know that I can be quite brutal if their gear is substandard are contacting me nonetheless and asking me to review their gear. I think that's a good thing. That shows in confidence, if nothing else. Still, I am concerned about the perception. Since I cannot afford to buy all these things, and yet there is a need from my subs to have me do my type of reviews which focus on gear from a prepper's perspective, Southern Prepper 1 gave me some very useful tips, and I want to share with you this. I've thought about this for about a week now before I present it. First, if I review a piece of gear I do not own, I'm going to clearly state that up front so you will know the relationship between myself and the vendor. Number two, in almost every case, I will be part of a group effort, meaning the gear is to be passed on to someone else. Perhaps the vendor will have someone specific in mind. Otherwise, I'm going to pick someone in the prepper community that has good recognition and whom many of you already know and subscribe to, folks like Southern Prepper 1 or Haas USMC. They will do their own independent review and put up their own opinions of the piece of equipment if they have the time, or if nothing else, they'll pass it back to me. The opinion, that is. The intention of that is to get multiple eyes on the same piece of equipment, looking at it from different perspectives, all for preppers though. I'm not going to pass the gear on to someone who just does torture tests. I know if I stick my ACOG in in a vise and a sledgehammer, it's going to break. And who would do that anyway? But it's not passed on back to them or back to the supplier, I will probably give it to one of the subs or do a raffle or some sort of contest. I've not done that to date because it's a bit time consuming, and I'm trying to focus on pushing out as much information as I can while working on the other things that are essential for me right now, such as getting better. My honor and integrity mean more to me than material things and possessions. When I leave this earth, I want my name to be remembered for just a few things: that I walked with God in integrity, and that though I have my faults, I was an honest man, that I was faithful and true. My subscribers, you folks, are a bit more to me than an audience, because I know that if we're all hits, the things I can teach you may make a difference. I also know the things that I fail to teach you may also be something that I will be responsible for. I cannot teach you unless I daily earn your respect and trust, and maintain that. I hope this gear review policy will allow me to accomplish the task of reviewing more things that you need me to look at, while holding true to the only thing that matters to me, which is my good name. I would like to hear from you. Either send me a PM if you have an opinion or something like that on this that's very strong that you don't wish to share in public, or please post it below in the comments section so that I will know. Above all, I want to make sure that I communicate clearly to you that honesty is the minimum standard, it's the best policy, and it's also the policy of this channel. Thank you, folks. This has been the Maine Prepper, and I look forward to seeing you soon and hearing from you. Bye.